A woman named Carol, 72 years old, careful about her health, sent me a message a few months ago. She had been eating the same 4 foods nearly every day for years, not junk food. Things from her own kitchen, things she had always considered safe. Then her labs came back. Her kidney numbers had shifted. Nothing emergency level, but enough for her doctor to say, "Let's keep an eye on this." And suddenly Carol was looking at her pantry with completely different eyes. She asked me, "Grace, how did I not know?" That question is exactly why I made this video, because after 60, the foods that quietly raise kidney risk the most are not the dramatic ones. They're sitting in the refrigerator right now, in the pantry. In the grocery bag you bring home every week without a second thought. I'm Grace Wells, kidney and diabetes health educator for older adults. And today I'm going to walk you through 4 everyday foods that can make your kidneys work harder, especially after 60, and what a smarter path forward might look like depending on your own health picture. Before we go in, one thing I want you to keep in mind. Kidney health after 60 is deeply personal. It depends on your labs, your blood pressure, whether you have diabetes, what medications you take. None of what I share today is a diagnosis, it's awareness, the kind Carol didn't have until it was already showing up in her numbers. Keep one question in your mind as we go. Do I eat this regularly? Because if the answer is yes, even to just one, this video may matter more than you think. The first food is one many seniors eat almost every day, and it feels harmless. Processed meat, deli meat, ham, turkey slices, salami, bologna, hot dogs, bacon. These sit in the refrigerator next to the lettuce and the yogurt, looking completely ordinary. The first concern is sodium, and the levels are higher than most people expect. A few slices of deli turkey, which sounds like a light choice, can carry between 300 and 600 milligrams of sodium depending on the brand. Add a slice of cheese, a spread, some crackers on the side, and you may already be near or above what kidney health guidelines suggest as a daily ceiling for sensitive individuals. Why does sodium matter so much for kidneys after 60? The kidneys are responsible for filtering and balancing sodium. When intake is consistently high, they have to work harder to manage that load. Over time, especially if blood pressure is already elevated, or if kidney function has quietly declined with age, that extra workload can be significant. High sodium intake is one of the leading contributors to kidney stress in older adults. But sodium is not the only concern. There is a second issue that most people have never heard of: phosphorus additives. Phosphorus occurs naturally in protein foods, chicken, fish, beans. Your body absorbs around 40 to 60% of that natural phosphorus. But in processed meats, manufacturers add phosphate-based preservatives. Those additives are absorbed at a much higher rate, sometimes up to 90%. For healthy kidneys, the difference matters less. The kidneys filter the excess, but for seniors whose kidney function has already slowed, which is common after 60, often without any symptoms, that higher absorption load can be harder to clear. If your doctor has mentioned your phosphorus levels or a CKD diagnosis, processed meat is absolutely worth discussing with your care team. A practical step: check labels for low sodium options, watch portion size, and if you're eating deli meat multiple times a week, bring it up at your next appointment. If any of this is already making you think about what's in your own refrigerator, that reaction is why I make these videos. If it's speaking to you, a quick tap on the like button helps this reach other seniors asking the same questions without realizing it. Now let's move to the second food. And this one surprises people because it doesn't feel like a real meal at all. Crackers, packaged snacks, pretzels, rice cakes with flavoring, cheese-flavored puffs, even the ones marketed as whole grain or baked not fried. Think about the last time you had a snack without planning it. Mid-afternoon, a handful of something while watching television, crackers with a bit of cheese before bed. For many seniors, snacking doesn't register the way a full plate does. It feels like a small thing. That is exactly where the risk quietly builds. Packaged snacks can carry significant sodium per serving, and the word serving is doing a lot of heavy lifting on those labels. A standard serving of crackers is often 5 to 7 pieces. Eat twice that, easy to do without thinking, and you've doubled the sodium without noticing. Many crackers carry between 150 and 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. Layer that with a flavored dip or some deli meat, and a light snack becomes a significant sodium event. But there is something beyond sodium worth knowing. Most packaged crackers and snack foods are made from refined white flour or highly processed starches. These digest quickly and raise blood sugar faster than whole food alternatives. And for kidney health after 60, that blood sugar connection matters more than most people realize. Consistently elevated blood sugar, even in the moderate range, not just at diabetic levels, can stress the tiny filtering vessels inside the kidneys over time. For seniors told they are pre-diabetic or who are already managing type 2 diabetes, this link between quick digesting snacks and kidney health is especially relevant. So packaged snacks often do two things at once: a sodium load and a blood sugar spike. For someone whose kidneys are already working at reduced capacity, again, common after 60 and often without symptoms, this is a pattern worth paying attention to. The swap some people find useful: plain, unsalted options when available, something with more fiber or lower glycemic choices. But if your doctor has told you to watch potassium, even healthier snack swaps need a second look. Always run changes by your care team first. Now the third food, this one may be in your freezer right now: frozen dinners, instant meals, pre-packaged soups. The kind of thing you heat up in 4 minutes that markets itself as balanced or heart smart. I understand the appeal completely. After 60, cooking a full meal every night isn't always realistic. Frozen meals are convenient and portion controlled, and some of them genuinely look healthy on the front of the package. The front of the package is not where the kidney story is told. Turn it over. Look at the sodium. For many frozen dinners, including the ones with wellness branding, sodium per serving ranges from 600 to over 1,200 milligrams. In a single meal, for a senior with any degree of kidney function decline, high blood pressure, or diabetes, that can represent more than half the daily sodium in one tray. Salt is what preserves frozen food and makes it palatable after months in storage. Words like lean, light, or natural on the front label do not mean low sodium. Natural does not mean kidney safe for everyone. And there is something else. Just like with processed meats, frozen dinners often contain phosphate additives: sodium phosphate, disodium phosphate, phosphoric acid, listed in the ingredient section, not the nutrition label. These are absorbed at a much higher rate than natural phosphorus. For seniors managing any stage of kidney disease, seeing those words in the ingredient list is worth flagging for your doctor. One more thing about frozen meals that catches people off guard: some use potassium-based salt substitutes to reduce sodium while maintaining flavor. For a person who has been told to limit potassium, this is a problem hiding in plain sight. A practical check: look for frozen options under 600 milligrams of sodium per serving, scan the ingredient list, not just the nutrition panel, for phosphate additives, and if you eat frozen meals regularly, make that part of your next conversation with your care team. And now, the fourth food. This is the one that surprises people the most, not because it's unusual, because it comes wrapped in a sense of comfort and often in health claims: sweetened foods and refined carbohydrates. Before you picture donuts and candy, I'm talking about flavored yogurts, sweetened cereals, store-bought muffins, white bread, fruit juices marketed as healthy, instant oatmeal packets, granola bars with more sugar than a cookie. These don't feel dangerous. Yogurt feels virtuous. Orange juice feels natural. Oatmeal feels wholesome. But when these foods are heavily sweetened or made from refined carbs that break down quickly, they create rapid rises in blood glucose. And for kidney health after 60, that matters in a very direct way. The kidneys contain millions of tiny filtering units. Inside each one are clusters of small blood vessels, the glomeruli, that do the actual filtering work. When blood glucose is chronically elevated, even at moderate levels, those vessels can be damaged over time. The early stages of glucose-related kidney stress can begin long before a formal diabetes diagnosis is made. Research consistently links high sugar intake, refined carbohydrate consumption, and insulin resistance to kidney stress, particularly in older adults whose metabolic function is already changing with age. If your doctor has told you your blood sugar is borderline or that you have prediabetes, your kidneys may already be responding to that glucose environment. Now, prúteir sin fruit juice. This one catches a lot of seniors off guard. A glass of orange juice or apple juice sounds like a natural vitamin-rich choice, but most commercially prepared juices have had the fiber removed, leaving concentrated sugar that absorbs very quickly. One glass of orange juice can carry as much sugar as a soda, sometimes more. For seniors monitoring blood sugar, this is significant. And for those who have been told to watch potassium, which is not everyone, orange and tomato juice can also be meaningful potassium sources. The practical shift here is not about eliminating whole food categories. It's about the version you choose within them. Plain, unsweetened yogurt instead of flavored. Steel-cut oats cooked plainly instead of a pre-sweetened packet. A piece of whole fruit instead of a glass of juice. Same food family. Very different effect on blood sugar. And over time, on your kidneys. If you are managing type 2 diabetes and taking medication for it, please talk to your doctor before making significant changes to your carbohydrate intake. Dietary changes can interact with diabetes medications in ways that affect blood sugar unexpectedly. And if something in this section reminded you of what you eat every morning, hold that thought. Because tomorrow, we're looking specifically at breakfast foods seniors should limit for kidney health after 60. There are a few on that list I think will genuinely surprise you. Let's bring these four together for a moment. Processed and deli meats, packaged snacks and crackers, frozen and instant meals, sweetened foods and refined carbohydrates. What they share, they're all convenient, familiar, and eaten without much thought. And when they become daily habits, they can create a steady background of sodium pressure, phosphorus load, blood sugar variability, and inflammatory stress on the kidneys, quietly, without symptoms, often for years. Carol took this kind of information to her doctor. Her doctor was genuinely glad she asked. They made some adjustments together, realistic ones, not dramatic ones. And Carol said something I haven't forgotten. I wish someone had explained this before my labs shifted, not after. That is why I make these videos. Here are 2 things you can do tonight. Write down the 3 foods you eat most often. Not a full diary, just 3 things that show up in your hands or on your plate almost every day. Then at your next doctor visit, bring that list and ask, are any of these worth reviewing given my current kidney numbers? That one question can open a conversation that changes what goes in your cart. And the next time you pick up something packaged, flip it over before it goes in your cart. Look at the sodium. Scan the ingredient list for phosphate additives. Check the sugar. You don't need to memorize numbers. You just need to start seeing what's there. Everything in this video is educational information, not personal medical advice. If you have kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, or take medications for any of these, please work with your doctor or a renal dietitian before making significant dietary changes. Your labs, your kidney function stage, and your medication list all matter. Now I want to ask you something directly. Which of these 4 foods shows up most often in your daily routine? The deli meat in the refrigerator, the crackers in the pantry, the frozen dinners in the freezer, or the sweetened foods that feel too familiar to question? Leave your answer in the comments. Someone else watching right now is asking themselves the same thing, and your honest answer may help them feel less alone. Your comment may do more good than you realize. If this video helped you see something differently, a label worth reading, a question worth asking at your next appointment, please tap the like button. It takes 1 second and it helps this reach the seniors who need it most. And if this is the kind of clear, calm kidney health guidance you wish someone had offered earlier in plain language without alarm, this channel was built for exactly that. I hope you'll stay. Tomorrow, we're going into breakfast. The morning foods and drinks that can quietly raise kidney risk after 60, including a few that genuinely surprise people. If you've been eating the same breakfast for years and assuming it's fine, that video is worth your time. I'll see you there.